Welcome to Motherhood. I'm Dr. Christina Hibbert, as you know, here to help you overcome, to become, and to flourish in this challenging experience we call motherhood. And I have to say, sometimes the biggest challenges come in our own homes and in our own relationships, especially in the relationship with our partner or spouse, right? I know you're all out there with me. You've all had these times and these experiences where you've had your own challenges with your partner or spouse. And today we're going to be talking about some of those and how do we actually work on the positive side of our relationship? How do we build up that positive side so that when we get to the negative side, when we have those times of conflict and trouble, that we are in a good place to overcome it together? Because let's face it, we're all going to have our hardships. We're all going to have times of conflict, times that we need to really be working on it, when we might even need extra help from a professional to help us through. But what we're talking about today is how to like each other better. Just how to like each other better, how to put some more positives into that emotional bank account so that when the harder times come, we can deal with those well together. And also so that we can enjoy each other. Now, this is a lesson I learned long ago in my youth from my parents, actually. They're a really good example to me of sticking together and liking each other and enjoying each other throughout their marriage. They've been through a lot of hard times, obviously losing 2 daughters and a son-in-law. They've been through many health challenges and other kinds of issues that really they've had an up and down life, a very difficult, challenging life. And the best thing about them is that they have not only stuck together, but they have helped each other and continue to like each other, continue to get along and enjoy one another. Now, I learned about this first when I was in high school, and I came home one day, and I'm sure I shared this on the show on one episode. I can't remember when, but I'm going to share it again. I came home from school, and my parents were making out on the stairs. So they were sitting on the last part of the staircase, and they were kissing each other. And of course, me being a teenager, I was totally grossed out, and I came in and I said, "Gross, stop, yuck, you guys, ugh, go to your room if that's what you want." But my mom said something that really stuck with me, and it stuck with me throughout my life and throughout my marriage of now 21 years. We just celebrated our anniversary. She said, "You don't know how lucky you are. We don't just love each other. We actually like each other." Now, isn't that important? Isn't that true? How many couples love each other but don't really like each other? Or even those of us that most of the times like each other, there are certainly times when we don't like each other. I have been caught saying that many times, like, "I just don't like you right now. I just don't like you right now. Like, you're driving me nuts," or this thing that we're working on, it's just driving me crazy. So today what we're focusing on is I have my favorite guest here of all time, my husband, OJ. He was on with me last year on our 20th anniversary as we talked about how to resolve conflict. And today we're going to talk about how to just like each other better. And trust me, it's something that we have to work on all the time, as you'll see from today's show, because we can annoy each other like crazy, and we're so opposite. But I find that most couples are like that. We're just different, and we aren't good sometimes at letting go of the things that drive us crazy or overcoming them or finding a way to look past them in order to just keep liking each other and building that positive side of our relationship versus just keeping on the negative. Now, we know from research that that's important. It's not just about overcoming the conflict, but also building up those positives, right? And so today's show is all about how to do that, how to like each other better, whether you're married, whether you're in a relationship, how you and your partner can actually foster right? So I just want to thank you all for joining us here each week as we do here on Motherhood Radio, and for joining us online at my website, drchristinahibbert.com. You can find lots of resources there on what we're going to talk about today, as well as links to past episodes, including the one I mentioned of my husband and I that still remains my favorite episode. And I keep hearing from so many others it's still their favorite episode too. I think we're just, well, you'll see today. We're quite a pair. Anyway, hopefully it's entertaining, if nothing else, and hopefully educational too. But also join us online on our Facebook group at Growing Through Motherhood by just asking to be added, look it up on Facebook, Growing Through Motherhood, and ask us to add you. We'd love to meet up with you there, as well as on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and wherever else you are, and especially on our YouTube channel, where you can find episodes of these radio shows on video, and including today's episode, and very exciting brand new website, which is about to launch, which is motherhoodtv.com, where you can find all of the episodes. We're still working on getting them all on there, but soon you'll have all the episodes there that you can check out in video and see what's going on behind the scenes. Now, without further ado, I would love to introduce you to my fabulous husband, OJ Hibbert. He is a dentist and a golfer, and perhaps that should be flipped around, maybe golfer and dentist, because he really is good at golf. Really, he got a hole-in-one the other day. It was amazing. Anyway, he's also a wonderful father. We have 6 kids, as you know, together. We've been married 21 years, and as you'll see, he's just a really fun, likable guy. Who can be really annoying, but but a really fun, likable guy. We both have our strengths. We both have our weaknesses. That's what it's all about. So how do we learn to like each other better despite those things? So take it away, OJ and Christy. All right, so now I have with me my husband, OJ. Welcome to the show again.
Thanks for having me on the show again.
Yeah, right. He's really saying thanks for nothing because he doesn't like to be here. But I'm glad you're here because last time we did a show together, it was very well received, and, you know, you were a very good guest, whether you like it or not.
Sure, because I keep it real.
Okay, because you keep it real. All right, we're going to keep it real here today. So we're talking today about the importance of working on liking each other. And you might love each other, but do you like each other, and how can you like each other better, right?
Right.
Do you agree with that whole principle? We need to like each other and love each other?
It makes for a better relationship, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we all have these things about each other that drive us crazy. I was thinking when we're talking about like, it really comes down more to the things that bother us about each other than the big things, right? Wouldn't you say?
Like what?
Like. So for instance, if you're okay with it, I'm going to share a few of ours.
Yes.
From my perspective. But then you are welcome to share some from your perspective if you like.
Sure.
Okay. So for instance, a couple years ago, we were at the lake and OJ had an epiphany. And really, to me, it wasn't an epiphany because I already knew this, but he actually admitted it. So that was an epiphany. He said, it's like, I don't know, but I just like bothering people.
No, bugging people.
Okay, bugging people. Is there a difference?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
One is a little bit more playful.
Okay, so playfully annoying people. I just like it. That's what he said. I just like it. And I was like, yeah, I know you like it, and I do not like it. So usually when he's bugging, it's the thing that drives me the most crazy.
I'd say if you don't like your buttons to be pushed, don't have buttons.
Right.
Or don't make them so big.
As a psychologist, I would say that you can work on your buttons, but you shouldn't be pushing other people's buttons either. What do you think?
Sometimes they enjoy it and they just don't say it.
Sometimes they don't enjoy it and they do say it and you do it anyway. Anyway, so.
Like secretly, I know you like to be scared.
Okay, see, this is one of the things I hate the most. He likes to jump out and try to scare me in the mornings. So in the early mornings, I'm getting out of bed and going to the bathroom or something, barely awake, and he'll be hiding behind the door in the dark, or he'll be in my closet, or one time he was in the bathroom. One time I was in the shower with my eyes closed, you know, getting all the soap out, and he snuck into the shower while I was in there, which I knew that he was somehow like open the door, but I didn't know.
See, anyway, that's funny. You're laughing. You're smiling even telling the story. It's funny.
No, I'm laughing because you're not stealthy. In fact, we joke about that all the time. That's the other thing that drives me nuts is he's just like an elephant running through the house, like clomp, 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 making all this noise. Even this morning I said, can you please go wake up the girls? And he's like, Kiki, wake up! And he's like making all this noise. He has all these weird sounds like when he's trying to get us in the car. In the car. Stuff like that. That drives me nuts. And just also.
Kids like it.
No.
I think they do.
The girls don't. I think
they
the boys
will when
might.
I'm gone. They'll remember it
They
fondly.
will remember it. So, okay. So anyway, all these little things that he likes to do to bug, right? So those little things can be very overwhelming to me and very annoying. And there have been many times where it's caused me to just feel like I don't like him because of those things. Then there are other things too, like golf and, sort of your willingness to be forthcoming about what your plans are for golf and things like that, right?
So teasing, cheating on your wife,
no.
and abuse. Is that the order?
This is one of our arguments, though. This is what he says. Like, hey, I don't abuse you. I don't cheat on you. I'm like, is that the standard that we have to live by?
But for any of the gals out there listening, I'm sure they would say, if the worst thing my husband did is...
I am not saying the worst
hide
things that
in
you've
plain
done.
sight. I've never hidden. I'm hiding in plain sight.
We're talking about small things.
Good morning. And you're like, whoa.
Okay, anyway, we're talking about small things that drive us crazy because my friends out there, OJ, they can relate to this, and we all have things. So what are some small things that drive you crazy about me?
Nothing.
Nothing, right. Okay. Well, I can say a few. Like, I do get kind of naggy about things, Just at times. Because I feel like I'm the only adult in the house sometimes. So literally, I always say he's like my seventh child. And so I do feel like I'm having to parent or tell him, hey, don't be causing a wrestling match right when I'm trying to put the kids to bed. Hey, did you remember that you said you were going to do this and you didn't do it? We all have that with our spouses. Yeah. So it reminds me of the old episode of Everybody Loves Raymond, which is one of my favorites still. Where
Just so you know. That one?
No.
Is that Seinfeld?
No. It's the one where he just keeps calling her a nag and she keeps calling him an idiot. Because I feel like that is totally how it is. I'm like, idiot, and you're like, nag. Anyway,
but who are your friends?
My friends.
Do you want to be more friends with idiots or nags?
Nags.
Like, a lot of your friends would be idiots.
Mine?
No, my friends. I'd classify them as idiots, but not nags.
We are quickly.
So who do you want to hang out with?
Going downhill here. You would want to hang out with idiots, but I would probably rather hang out with nags.
Idiots do fun, dumb things.
But you're motivated by fun, and I'm motivated by nurturing and being, being responsible.
Young at heart.
So I know. So we balance each other. So anyway,
now
that we have vented our frustrations.
I haven't got to say anything about what bothers me.
You said nothing. Go ahead.
No. I'm fine with that.
I brought up something.
Like there's ever a good thing to say. I don't like how you're not very punctual. Or, no, better. I like that you're just too much of a perfectionist.
Whatever. This isn't a job interview, okay?
Yeah. Okay. It's always a job interview.
Anyway. So I'm going to interject here. After OJ and I recorded the episode, I decided to throw him a bone and to share a live, legit example of how I can really be annoying to him and how I can nag him. We actually had an argument right before the show started and didn't realize as we were sitting down to record the show that the recorder was already on. So it recorded the whole thing and we didn't know. So here's an example of how I can be annoying to him. So here you go.
Awkward.
Well, it is awkward because you're just totally disrespecting.
Okay.
The plan was you were hurrying back.
Honey,
I was setting up and we were going to start.
I tried to get Kennedy.
And I need to be out of here in a half hour and I wanted to do at least 35 minutes. Usually my shows are 45 minutes.
I tried to get Kennedy to just jump out so I could U-turn it, but the line took forever.
Okay, but then you took forever too. You were also chatting on the phone.
20 seconds.
You weren't hurrying. OJ, why can you never just say yes and I was on the phone?
Sorry.
But the line also took forever. You can never, ever be wrong.
Okay.
It's so annoying. You're so annoying. You're so annoying. I'm going to share all your annoying things right now on the show. Oh, it's actually recording right now. Perfect. So there you have it. The ugly truth. I'm not sharing this because I'm not embarrassed. I am. But I think a lot of you can relate out there. So I wanted to just give you a glimpse of what it's really like. And the important point is that we were able to then move past it and start doing this radio episode together and forgive and forget kind of on the fly. So that's important as we're talking about this today. So anyway, I wish he were here to comment on it. I think he'll be shocked that I actually put it in. But I am about being real here on Motherhood, and this is how I am. This is how it is. So I'm working on it. Anyway, back to Christy and OJ on how to like each other. So now we're going to talk about how we can actually overcome these things. So have there been times in our marriage, though, where you'd say that we've had some small things like that have created bigger problems? that one or both of us have let the small things just start to kind of get in the way. We're just annoyed with each other. We're just sick of each other, and then it becomes a bigger issue.
Yes.
Right. So even though we might still love each other, we don't feel like we like each other at that time.
Sure.
Have you felt that way?
I guess.
You guess? What do you mean you guess?
Well, yes. Fine. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. You can be forthcoming. We are on a radio show trying to help and educate people.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Been times like, forget this.
Okay.
What's the point?
All right. And what's your favorite advice on that? Cheaper to keep her?
The grass is not always green.
Okay.
Or cheaper to keep her. That rhymes.
All right. So please don't be offended by him, everybody. This is just how he is. And yes, I am rolling my eyes.
And yes, it is cheaper to keep her.
Okay.
Both from a financial standpoint and an emotional bank account standpoint.
That is right. Good job. Okay. So when I think about liking each other and overcoming these small things that can become big problems, and I know everybody out there, you can relate to this stuff. So hopefully you're laughing along with us and going, I totally have that same issue, or these are the things that drive me crazy, or this is what happened this morning that I just wanted to like wring their neck because they were doing this. We need to overcome those little things, right? And how do we do that? So first of all, I want to share one, and then you can think of your advice while I'm talking. How's that?
Right.
Okay. So I was thinking, if we want to learn to like each other better, I think the first and foremost thing we need to do is you have to like yourself. I would say I would
not have thought of that.
I know. That's why we're so good together. So I was thinking
Never had the problem of thinking about that.
I was thinking how a lot of our worst times in our marriage, and I think you'd agree with this, really had to do with like times when I was depressed, or we were in a spot of like I was overwhelmed with grief, or when I was having issues with myself, I would tend to take everything out on you a lot more. Would you agree with that?
Sure.
Yeah. So I feel like I had to at some point recognize, you know what? I need to get myself in order for us to be good again. Right? So if one of us isn't healthy or well, or doesn't like ourselves, or doesn't love ourselves, or can't accept ourselves, we're going to be annoyed even more and more and more by the things the other person does. Because we're not happy with ourselves, we're not going to be happy with what the other person does. What do you think about that?
I agree.
Yeah. So it's a lifelong process, of course, liking ourselves, but I think that you have to be able to accept yourself. Like, obviously, one of the great things about OJ is he just is who he is. Like, he just does what he does, and he is what he is. Like, even though I'm saying these things drive me crazy about you, he's defending it because he's like, what? It's fun, and this is what I like to do, and this is how I am. So, to him, that's just how he is. He likes to bug people, and he admits it finally.
I don't tickle you nearly as much as I used to.
Tickle?
Yeah, because you said
I hate being tickled. I know, I hate being tickled. So
I've changed.
Right.
See?
You have changed, but also you're still a lot the same.
Hiding and scaring is still pretty good.
Anyway, it's so annoying, especially when you're recovering from a brain injury or you're dealing with anxiety.
The brain injury again.
Oh my gosh. See? Minimizing what I'm going through.
I'm not. I was there. You hit your head pretty hard.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. And I was repeating myself a lot, right? So, anyway, that's my first bit of advice. So if we don't like ourselves, it's going to be hard to like each other, and we're going to take those things out on each other. So a lot of the times I think it's good for us to ask ourselves, why am I so upset about this thing? And is it a small thing, or is it a really big issue that really needs to be dealt with? We're not minimizing the big issues at all here today. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, liking each other. There are things, the big issues can cause us to not even love each other. But we're going to assume that we love each other, but we have to keep working on liking each other. So first, learn to like yourself and work on that. And we have episodes on this show about self-worth and how to build that. I have resources on my website at drchristinahibbert.com on how to build self-worth. My book, Who Am I Without You, is about that. So work on that, right? So What would you say? What have you done to help you like me better when I'm not being so likable? Because I know I'm not so likable sometimes. I can be really irritable, moody,
Let it blow over.
Okay.
That's one thing.
So
sometimes
in
it
what
just
circumstances?
needs to blow over. Well, when you're kind of acting freaky and it's not so much a relationship problem, but a physical problem.
Like hormones?
Or just sleep, or hormones.
That's an issue for sure.
Yeah, so sometimes, the old never go to bed angry. Sometimes you can just go to bed, wake up, pretend nothing happened.
Yeah.
Till later that afternoon, and you say, we're not going to just pretend nothing happened.
Then I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think that's good advice. I think we shared that on our conflict show too, about, that we both agree that sometimes it is better to go to bed angry. You're just sometimes too tired. We have a rule that we just don't talk about important things late at night after 9 or so, which is late for us.
8:30?
8:30 bedtime. Because we're not going to be at our best. We're not going to be able to cope. We're not going to be able to be nice to each other.
No, but I think honestly though, if things are bad, you can actually learn to love someone more when you serve them.
Very good.
You have to do something nice for them sometimes.
That's right.
Which the old adage is bringing flowers, but some people don't care about that.
Yeah. So what do you do then?
Do something else.
Like
dress up really nice for them. Do your hair just right.
Are you saying that I should do that?
No, I mean, you could make dinner, breakfast in bed, whatever it is.
You made dinner last night because I had a really bad tension headache from my concussion.
From the head injury.
See? He's annoyed by it, but it's true. Blah. Anyway, but he took over. He made dinner. He put the kids to bed.
He did.
So, yeah. So I think that's great. Serving each other helps us like them better. Why do you think that happens that way?
Why do I get so tired when we're talking?
See what I mean?
It's like 8 a.m. and I'm falling asleep.
He can't even stay awake.
This is painful for me.
We have had a time where I'm talking about something really important and he literally fell asleep. So
you've conditioned me.
No, I don't think I have. That's why I have to nag you.
But yeah, you got to do something. Otherwise, how do you like someone after, 21 years?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
We just celebrated 21.
It's a long time.
Yeah, we realized we got married so young that we've actually been married longer than we were single. Crazy, huh? So serving each other. Yeah. And I think what you're getting at, and I'll put it in other terms, and please try to stay awake for this, is to find their love language and try to serve them in that way. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I know secretly you love to be scared.
Right. It's totally for your own entertainment. But here's the thing. I will say, sometimes I just go with it because I know that it's something that he likes. So it's kind of like golf. You learn that there's things that they like to do that drive you nuts. Like he's gone golfing all day or all weekend or all week, or he's taking days off work and not telling me that, oh yeah, by the way, I'm golfing today. Not telling me ahead of time. Anyway, that kind of stuff can be annoying, right? But when you start to see it in a different way but that's something he really loves. That's part of what he is all about. Just like he has had to understand, but she really does like to learn and to do these radio shows and to write, and all that stuff can drive him crazy too, because I'm stressed and I'm, driving the whole house crazy because I'm a little irritable about it. But you understand that that's important to me. So then you support that. So I can sometimes support even his joking just because I know that it's important to him. And it does help me to lighten up, So in the same sense that might help me to lighten up, he keeps banging this Play-Doh on the table here. And it's making bumping noises, so I keep touching his hand and stop. So this is like a perfect metaphor of what's going on our real relationship. Is I'm parenting him like, no, don't do that. You're making noises. Anyway, so
the people out in America can't see that.
Well, the people that watch the video can. So
no, not it. Anyway.
But they can hear it. The point is, you can hear the thumping. Anyway. It's just like a metaphor for us.
If you're outside of America, we welcome you as well.
So anyway, we can learn from each other. You make me more fun and light, and I do have to just let it go, and I laugh a lot more. I am grateful that you make me laugh so much. At the same time, I make you more responsible. I make you have to do more things than probably you would do on your own. When I leave you alone, it is not pretty. You are always...
No, I mean,
yeah.
I've had times where I was capable without you.
I'm not saying that you're not capable. I'm talking about going downhill, taking care of yourself and being responsible.
I don't eat right. I don't sleep right. I don't exercise.
There you go.
I don't feel well.
So you can be a balance for each other when you work on these things. So the other thing that I wanted to add in that I was thinking is to actively think fondly of each other. So this is from John Gottman. It's one of the things that he recommends for a healthy marriage, to on purpose think kindly about each other. So when I first read his book on 7 keys to making marriage work, or whatever it's called, I stop yawning. Oh my goodness.
I know.
Jeez,
I got up early today.
We are so different. Like, to me, I am so alert and awake doing this because it's so interesting to me. And you're just like, you're just trying to keep up.
Tell me, I don't know. Just it's a thing.
Just shows everybody out there. See, you're just different.
Maybe
you're gonna be different from your partner.
I had an injury.
You probably did. That explains it all. That explains it all. Don't get on your phone either. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm sorry. This show is being very disruptive.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go to Gottman again.
Gottman, thank you.
Think about the other person.
He says to talk about
them.
to actively think fondly of each other. So think good things about each other, to remember the good stuff when you're separated, let's say. So back in graduate school, I read the book, and I remember, I think it was right when we first got telephones, but we had a pager. That's what it is. No. I was thinking cell phones. We got our first cell phones in graduate school. But no, he was in dental school and I was in graduate school. We had 2 little kids. It was a crazy time. But we had a pager. And so we used to be able to just page each other if we needed something, right? Page the number, or we'd page 911 or whatever.
58008.
What is that?
Boobs.
Oh my gosh.
No, remember you could write letters like
in the
hello.
Text. Okay.
With like a 4 would be an H upside down, and the 3
of all
would be
of them
an
that you remember, that's what you remember.
770 is hello.
Okay, you are not making men look good, OJ.
Sorry.
You are not making men look good.
I'm just pager talk. Everyone would understand that who had a pager.
Anyway, forget the pager. The point is, I started to try to think fondly of you, and I would actually try to call you, or when we had our cell phones, I'd actually try to call you because we weren't texting, and just say, you know what, I'm thinking of you, and I hope you have a good day, or something like that.
Right.
Now, I try to do it where I might text you something if I'm thinking of it, or just...
Heart emojis?
Yes. Or you like to do the cha-cha woman dancer, like, hey, baby, kind of thing.
Just meant we should dance.
Right. Anyway. So actively think fondly of each other. So even when you're in the middle of a fight, and this is a great way to measure how you're doing as a couple. Even if you're not really getting along, you're not really liking each other, can you laugh together? Can you still try to put the good in there? Because you know what? The good and the bad are not mutually exclusive. So if there's rough stuff going on, we can still actively try to seek the good and put the good in there. So actively try to think about each other in the fond ways, and think about why you actually liked each other in the first place. You obviously got together in the first place because you liked each other in some way. So try to remember those things and actively seek those throughout the day. What's your next bit of advice?
I don't know. You got to grow somewhat together, because if we think about when we met, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, we were young.
Like 18, 19 years old-ish.
Yeah, I was 17 when I met you,
17?
actually. Yikes.
So.
Crazy.
Yeah. So you probably need to think more about the person now versus then. Otherwise, if you've changed but haven't changed together, then all of a sudden the person then you might still like, but the person now, not so much.
Yeah.
So
how can we change together, though? How do you make sure that that's happening instead of growing apart, which I hear so much from people that we just grew apart, but I don't think that just happens. I think you let it happen, or you actively make it happen. If you don't stop it, it might happen, I guess. But how do you grow together?
I don't know. I guess you stay interested in what the other person's doing.
Yeah.
You do things together. You actually enjoy being together.
Yeah.
Stuff
try to
like
have fun
that.
Together.
Try to have fun together.
Yeah.
You know, scare them in the mornings.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Put a little liveliness into your relationship by practical joking and scaring.
But yeah, if it's boring and stale, then people think, really? The rest of my life with this? Forget that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You want someone that understands you and you understand them, so that it's also cheaper to keep her from a mental standpoint of trying, like, would someone else really get to know me like this person does.
Yeah.
But you have to know each other.
That's true. Very good.
I know.
You have learned over the years.
Come around.
But you're right. We do change. Even we were talking about that the other day. You were saying, I don't think you knew this about me when we got together. That I didn't know that you like to bug people. You never had done that. You were super sweet. He was so sweet. He did these kind little things and made these little notes.
Two little sisters.
You were so sweet.
Bugged all the time.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that until way after we were married.
You should have asked my friends. I bugged them.
I should have.
In the dorms?
That's good advice for anybody who's thinking of getting married.
I can find anyone's buttons.
Anyway, so there are things that you obviously aren't going to know about each other for sure when you get married, but you just have to deal with them. That's the other thing I think is you can't give up. Like you can't quit on each other. If one of you's having a problem, like you can't stay awake while we're having a conversation, for instance, just
yawning,
out of the blue. All. Anyway, then we have to work through that. Help each other work through it. Just like you've had to help me work through my times when I've been through, mental and emotional ups and downs and difficult times. And I think it requires a lot of patience so we can actively practice being patient with each other. And I think that to be patient, it helps to remind each other or remind ourselves that this is a small thing. It can feel so huge. So in therapy all the time, I have couples come in and they're telling me how their relationship isn't working and they're, it's failing and all this is happening. But when they start talking about what the problems are, a lot of times the problems aren't the big problems. They are these small things like we're talking about. Well, he just doesn't listen to me. He doesn't understand. And she doesn't, she won't get off my case. She won't let me do what I want to do. Or, she doesn't understand how tired I am after work. And then I need a break too. Well, he doesn't help me with the kids or whatever it might be, or vice versa. Right. But this is what I hear all the time. But these are normal parts of being with somebody for so long, like you said.
Well, yeah, it's not always going to be peaches and cream.
Right.
Must be an opposition in all things.
That is true. That's right. We learn that through the scriptures. But we have to help each other.
But it stinks at times.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Knowing that each little fight's not, okay, this is the beginning of the end.
Right.
Well,
in our last episode that we did together a year ago on our 20th anniversary was about how to resolve conflict. So today, to me, I was trying to think of it in a sense of before you get to the major conflict, here are some things you can do to actually try to like each other, and try to prevent conflict. I think when we try to like each other, when we work on liking each other, we prevent the bigger problems from happening too. Would you say?
Yeah, but I mean, you also realize that it's just part of the relationship and it doesn't always require a big meeting to come back together.
What do you mean?
Like if you have an argument or whatever, it doesn't always need to be like a sit-down resolution. In some cases, it's just one person had a bad day and then the next day they're better.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need to be a defining moment.
Right.
Other times it might be where you do need to sit down and resolve something, but other times it's just like, let it wash by.
So this is good advice because this is something I've had to learn from you because his tendency is to want to be like, let everything go.
I just don't want to deal with stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We won't label that what that is. But anyway, but laziness?
I thought you were going to say denial.
No.
Laziness.
Anyway, but my tendency is to want to talk about everything. And so if you're like me and you feel like every issue needs to be resolved, we have to work through every issue and talk about every issue for hours upon hours. That's not a good place, healthy place to be. And if you're like OJ and you're in more of like denial or let go or just like, I just don't have the energy, I don't want to deal with it, so we're just going to let everything go. That's not good either. So we've kind of, learned a lot from each other, I think, in that way. Sometimes I have to push him and say, we do need to talk about this. Like, this is really an issue. It's not something we can just let go. But I have to say there are so many, especially these little things we're talking about, where it is a conscious choice. So I think it helps to hear your thoughts, hear what you're telling yourself about the situation, like, oh my gosh, he's driving me crazy, and be able to just say, you know what, he's just trying to have fun. And yes, he's driving me crazy. And I can ask him to stop And he maybe will, sometimes he will, or he's going to leave soon and go to work, and I can just calm down and go do something and let it go. And it doesn't need to be like a big old, we need to talk this over, because, it's not a big issue. So I do agree. That's a huge part of being able to like each other, is being able to let go of the things that really aren't a big deal and be able to distinguish between the things that are and the things that aren't. And like OJ said, most things aren't as big a deal as we think, I think,
Right. And I think everyone's crazy.
Yeah,
so
in our
from
own
that
way.
standpoint, yeah. But I mean, at times it might be helpful to look at your partner or spouse as someone else might be looking at them.
Yeah.
Where you don't always see the crazy, and you just see them for what you would picture them being.
That's true.
Like there's a pretty person, and she looks like fun, and she's got it together.
You're not talking about anyone in particular, are you?
I'm talking about you.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That people would think that, but really, I'm crazy.
No, but I think most of that is true. They just don't see the dirty details.
Yeah, they don't see me freaking out right before our radio show.
But what I
because you
mean
weren't
is,
back on
if
time and,
you take a step back and you're like, oh yeah, I'm pretty fortunate to have what I have.
Yeah. You mean in each other, thinking that.
Meaning you.
Thank you. And I am pretty fortunate to have you too, because you're right. You don't.
Because on paper, it's pretty good.
Whatever.
That's what I'm saying. If you were to just list,
But I think in real life, it's pretty good too. But
Heck
that's my point, though. One of my points is to look past those things and see the really good stuff. To actively not only think fondly of each other, but to really see the bigger picture. Oh, how cute. Look what OJ made for me. He turned the clay that was driving me crazy into a heart. That's what I mean. So see, even though you bother me.
I don't think any men are listening to this, but they should
around.
check that out.
That is a good looking heart. Okay. Anyway, so we can do kind little things for each other even when we're bothering each other, right?
Right.
And let them know, hey, I'm just joshing. But anyway, as I was
People
saying.
don't say that anymore.
Okay, well, I just said it. So the important thing is to see the good stuff and appreciate it. I think having gratitude for each other, being grateful. I'm a praying person. You are too. So when I say my prayers and I can think about all the things I'm grateful for my kids and for my family and for you, and then I try to get specific about the things I'm grateful for you, and that really helps. And sometimes I keep a gratitude journal. I'm not the best at it. Or in my regular journal, I'll just write about things, that I'm grateful for, that you're so steady in your job and that you've been such a good provider for us and you work so hard for us and, you are a loving, fun father and you are fun, you are super fun for me. Everybody loves being around OJ. He's like the life of the party. But, sometimes I get a little annoyed with the life of the party, but I'm grateful that that's who you are. And I'm not trying to like crush you and change you into something else, but I'm trying to learn how to live with that on a 24/7 basis, I guess we've been doing that for a long years. Well, that's true. So, mine is golf, so that's a big chunk of time. That's
12 hours of the day that you deal with me.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So any other thoughts on this topic?
I think we're good.
How to like each other. We're good?
Like them.
Like them.
Love them.
Like them, love
Have
them.
fun.
It does go hand in hand. I mean, you can love someone without really feeling like you like them, but I think when you really do love someone, you work on feeling like you
It's
like
like
them.
when people break up. I still love them and I wish the best for them.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
That's not true.
No.
Well, sometimes I think it can be.
Well, then you should have liked each other more.
Okay. So work
Make it
on it.
work.
Make it work, as Tim Gunn would say. So make it work. And
No.
that's what Tim Gunn says. Anyway.
We get through it together.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Right.
We make it work.
That's right. We make it work. And that's, I think, probably the best place for us to kind of wrap up the last idea here is to not quit, to not give up. That these little things or things that seemed little before and then turn into a bigger thing, because that can happen too, where these little things actually become a chronic pattern and it might lead into bigger issues. And of course, there are lots of big issues that everybody deals with, like infidelity and like abuse and like...
You're pointing to me?
No, because you said earlier, at least
right.
you don't cheat and stuff. Anyway, and of course, those are big issues that we really need to deal with, and we need some probably outside help to deal with. individually and as a couple. But when we're talking about just the day-to-day, how do we get along? How do we like each other? What can we do to make this work, as you say? I think the biggest thing is to not quit, as we're saying.
And I think everything can be salvaged.
Yeah.
But that's not the goal. The goal is to thrive and flourish through marriage.
Oh, thanks for using my words.
Yeah. Those are the words, right?
Right. No, not just to overcome your challenges, but to actually, become better and to flourish in your marriage. But anyway, we need to actively work on it and not quit, because I see that all the time. I see couples that, we've had friends even who have had issues in their relationship, and they might reach out for help to friends, or they might reach out to help for families, but when it comes down to it, like we've talked with a lot of friends, couples, and talked to them about, maybe you need some extra help. Maybe you really need to go get some work on your marriage in a different way. And, sometimes couples aren't willing to do that, or they think that they don't have time, or they think that they don't have the money or the resources. But I say, if you're to that point and
still
things are really bad,
her.
still cheaper to keep the marriage. It's still cheaper, not even cheaper, but like you said, in all different ways, not financially even. We're talking about all the different ways. It's, you don't want to quit on each other.
Right. And we've had some friends that it looks like there's no way they should stay together, but they've made it work, and it can be a learning experience. Yeah,
right. But the worst is when you maybe find yourself on the other side, as we've seen with some family and friends, and kind of realize, maybe I made a mistake because we didn't really try hard enough. We kind of gave up too soon. So never quit. Keep working on liking each other. Try to think fondly of each other. Try to let the little things go. Talk about the big things, but let the little things go. Try to see the good in each other and the good intentions, even when the things that they're doing is driving you nuts. Try to just work with it and appreciate them for who they are. And does that kind of sum up what we were saying?
Dance with the one you brought.
Dance with the one you brought. Nice. Well, I think that's a good note to end on. So thanks again for being here, OJ.
My pleasure.
For staying awake and adding your insights. You really do have some good insights when you feel free to put them out there.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. You too.
Thanks. All right. And until next time, everybody, I hope you will continue to grow through motherhood with us here on Motherhood Radio. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.